Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah coming to you guys in California. Before I begin, give all praise to the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who was wisdom? Who was the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High blesses this lesson this evening. Gives us more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth. So we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Brethren, we're going to be getting into a subject here that I think we really need to kind of touch on. It's, many people give the Gentiles too much credit. They make it seem like certain information comes from the Gentiles without them having to prove any of it. When you're talking about secret societies, esoteric hidden information, they're always saying that comes from the Gentiles. But you're going to see that only thing the Gentiles have been, guilty of is hiding where they get the information from. Anything that they don't agree with or what their early church didn't agree with, they burned, they hid, and they got rid of it. Under, it being pagan or whatever else it is. And we're going to be looking into that right now. Going to get into the book right here, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. An encyclopedia, outline of Messianic, Hermetic, Kabbalistic, and Rosicrucian symbolical philosophy. Being an interpretation of the secret teachings concealed within rituals, allegories, and mysteries of all ages. And Manly Palmer Hall. And what people will do, and just, what the churches and society has made people do is just dismiss information right off the jump because, that comes from, he's a Satanist. He's this, he's that. Manly P. Hall this and Manly P. Hall that. And they'll just teach you just to dismiss information. But hold on. Do you dismiss the fact that the Catholic Church does not have authority to say which books are canon, which books are good, and which books are bad? No, you won't dismiss that. You won't dismiss giving those people that kind of authority. But another person who might come up with some more information that's probably been hidden by the church, you'll just dismiss right from jump. Do you dismiss the history books that you've been taught? About the world history, about the original Russians, with who they were? Do you dismiss the original Irish that they've taught you? The original English, right? The original ones that were in the land of Spain. Do you dismiss the things that they've told you, or do you hold on to those things near and dear? But anything else that they tell you not to accept, you just, dismiss it right from jump. See, we know that when these Romans came into our land, when they came into Ireland and they came into England, they did not destroy the pagan sites. All they did was go and build on top of them, if they didn't just take over the buildings that were already there. And they just gave it a new name. And all of a sudden, now it's a Christian building. It's a Christian site. And then they hid all that information about, the original people that were there, the original uses that were there. But they use them anyways by getting you to go into their churches and to pray on those ley lines in order for them to suck your energy. They know that these rituals have power. They know that these specific areas have power. They just don't tell you. They just tell you don't look into it, and you just follow along like a little puppy dog, and you just listen to whatever it is they say, and you don't question anything. We're going to take a look right here at this. I took a picture of the whole page, okay, the ancient mysteries and secret societies. I'm going to, kind of get closer into one section that we want to read right here. You can kind of, take a look at this. I hope you got a big screen TV at the house or somewhere you can, kind of get a better view of this. But we're going to take a look right here. And you're going to see how it's, they didn't have this original information. They took it, stole it, and kept it for themselves. And what's crazy is today, you got all these supposed people that are awakened and are woke and this, and that. And they give credit to the Gentiles for this information. They say, oh, that's Gentile information. Prove it. Show me anywhere where Gentiles had all this great knowledge and understanding. Because even in the scriptures, even in the Bible that they went around with, the Bible tells you that the scriptures were only given to Jacob. He has not dealt so with any other nation. If the Most High has not dealt with any other nation by giving them they don't even get the basic instructions before leaving the earth. Like, that's what the Bible is, just the basic instructions. And the Most High didn't even give them the basics. So if the Most High didn't give them the basics, do you think that he would have entrusted them with the deeper knowledge? Do you think he would have entrusted the other nations with deeper understanding? Let's get that really quick. Let's go to Psalms 147, 19 and 20. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So this is in the Bible. These are the basic instructions before leaving earth. Most High says he's given these words unto Jacob. He has not dealt so with any other nation. So if he's not given the other nations the basics, do you think he's going to give them the deeper things? If he didn't teach the other nations addition and subtraction, do you think that he's going to trust them with calculus, trigonometry? Does that make any sense? Absolutely not. So therefore, they're not going to be able to teach you about the esoteric things. They're not going to be able to teach you about the esoteric information. Okay, because it was not given to them in the first place. You see that? So when you keep hearing people saying, oh, that stuff, that's from the Gentiles. Prove it. I just showed you where the Most High is not dealing with the Gentiles. He's not giving them that knowledge, not giving them that information. If they don't have the basics, then they don't have the deep things. If he didn't give them the exoteric information, trust me, they don't have the esoteric information. Hence why anything that deals with being esoteric to the church, to the priesthood of Mahan, is evil. Because they're not included. They can't come in. This is a party they can't come into. This is a group they're excluded from. So if they can't be in it, then it must be evil. And that's why they push that whole narrative. And they tell you that. You see it all over. You see it again and again and again. You're going to see it right here as well. Check this out. Okay, this is from the same page, the Ancient Mysteries and Ancient Societies. It says, the entire history of Christian and pagan Gnosticism is shrouded in the deepest mysteries and obscurity. For while the Gnostics were undoubtedly prolific writers, little of their literature has survived. So the Gnostics, they wrote a lot. There's a lot of information. But for some reason, and we all know why, very little of their writing or literature has survived. Because the Christians back then, the Gentiles didn't want the world to know. that this information was given to a specific people, and it was not given to all. So they had to hide that fact. Okay? It says, they brought down upon themselves the animosity of the early Christian church. So the early Christian church had a lot of animosity, a lot of hate. Okay? And when this institution reached its position of world power, it destroyed all available records of the Gnostic cultists. And they said, oh, that's evil. Oh, that's witchcraft. Burn it. Get rid of it. See, it's things that are not for them. They didn't get the basics. They don't understand the basics. So they know that they can't get the deep things. So therefore, they're going to hide that information. And they're going to burn it. They don't want the world to know that it was not given to them. So again, I'll just continue. Look, the name Gnostic means wisdom or knowledge, and is derived from the Greek gnosis. And see, like they want to start everything with the Greek, like as if the people didn't have this knowledge before the Greeks got here. They do those kinds of things on purpose so that you can have people say, oh, that's Gentile information. So you're trying to say they didn't have their own language before Greeks? They didn't have, their own language before Greek? They weren't communicating their information before the Greek language? Of course they were. But these guys got to, make that connection between Gnosticism and the Greeks, and that has nothing to do with it, because this knowledge and understanding was way before the Greeks came on the scene. It says the members of the order claim to be familiar with the secret doctrines of early Christianity. They interpreted the Christian mysteries according to pagan symbols. See, we already knew about early Christian dogma because we already had all this information. These Christians just came in way late, tried to act like they had something brand new, which they didn't. They had a very superficial understanding because the Most High didn't give them even the basics. But they wanted the whole world to think that they were bringing something brand new, which they weren't. Okay? Their secret information and philosophical tenets they concealed from the profane and taught to a small group only of especially initiated persons. Now see, we didn't teach all our information to everyone. So everyone who runs around with the Bible thinking they got everything, because everything you need is in a book that was just going to be spread and shared for everyone to see. I said, you're fooling yourself. The Most High doesn't work like that. That's why he calls for a holy people, a separate people, an esoteric people, a people that are separated. There is going to be a small group of people that are going to be able to get this understanding. And see, when you see people not wanting to give you the correct definition of esoteric, is because they don't want you to realize that there is an esoteric group of people that have information that the vast majority of the world has not been given. Again, esoteric, here's a definition: intended for or likely to be understood by only a small number of people with a specialized knowledge or interest. That's scriptural. That is biblical. Go ahead and go to Deuteronomy 7:6. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. And you can just take out the word holy, and you can institute the word esoteric. It's the same thing. For thou art an esoteric people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. And these people are going to be able to display the fact that they're separated by their knowledge and understanding that has been gifted to them by the Most High, given to them through wisdom, given to them through the Holy Spirit. See, other people want to act as if they're totally separated and they're totally, separate, and they got way more understanding, they're way more connected with the Most High. But then the actual word that actually goes into that even more so, they want to reject and say it's satanic. And like I said, esoteric would be satanic to the priesthood of Mahan because they're excluded. It's a word that does not include them. And they don't want the world to understand that. They don't want the world to know that. Now, this part here, check this part. Simon Magus, okay, the magician of New Testament fame, is often supposed to have been the founder of Gnosticism. See, they took Gnosticism and they put it on this guy, Simon Magus, as if there was no such thing as wisdom and knowledge before him. But they got to probably, they got to try to marry to someone that they're going to portray as evil. So that then when you hear words about Gnosticism, you hear the word Gnosticism or you hear the word esoteric, you'll equate it to a magician and someone that was battling against Simon Peter. They do those kinds of things. So you make these, these connections between good and evil. You don't think that Simon Peter had esoteric information, esoteric understanding that the vast majority of the world didn't have? You're going to see he did in this little story, this little clip right here. Check this out. Simon Magus, the magician of New Testament fame, is often supposed to have been the founder of Gnosticism. And again, it says supposed. Again, someone's opinion again. Didn't say for sure, but they'll do those kinds of things, okay? If this be true, okay, if, again, there you go, the sect was formed during the century after Christ and is probably the first of the many branches which have sprung from the main trunk of Christianity. Everything with which the enthusiasts of the early Christian church might not agree, they declare to be inspired by the devil. There you go. Anything that the early church did not agree with, they said is inspired by the devil. Everything. And they do the same thing today. Anything they don't agree with, anything that does not go against, go with their dogma, it's the devil. It's the devil. Nothing new. Oh, you're looking at the stars? That's the devil. You're looking at astrology? That's the devil. You're looking at wands? That's the devil. You're looking at rocks? That's the devil. Anything that goes against the church? That's the devil. Anything that would provide you some kind of protection? That's the devil. Same old thing. It says that Simon Magus had mysterious and supernatural powers is conceded even by his enemies. But they maintained that these powers were lent to him by the infernal spirits and furies, which they asserted were his ever-present companions. Undoubtedly, the most interesting legend concerning Simon is that which tells of the theosophic contest with the apostle Peter. While the two were promulgating their differing doctrines in Rome, according to the story that the church fathers have preserved, and that's the one they let you hear, okay? Okay, Simon was to prove his spiritual superiority by ascending. I'll continue reading, okay? Let me read. Find here. By ascending to heaven in a chariot of fire. He was actually picked up and carried many feet into the air by invisible powers. When St. Peter saw this, he cried out in a loud voice, ordering the demons, spirits of the air, to release their hold upon the magician. The evil spirits, when so ordered by the great saint, were forced to obey. Simon fell a great distance and was killed, which decisively proved the superiority of the Christian powers. Now, see, they try to say that those Christian powers are linked to their church, and that Simon Magus, okay, they're trying to link the powers of Simon to their church, and they try to link the powers of Simon Magus, okay, to the devil, to the Gnostics. Okay? That's how they try to do that. So Simon Magus is dealing with the Gnostics. He's with the devil. Simon Peter is with the church. And he was showing how his church, the Catholic Church, has superior power. So therefore, you need to follow their church, because he was like the first Christian who they established a church in Rome. He established a Catholic Church in Rome. But they do those kinds of things. Okay? Now, we know here that Peter, okay, could see these invisible spirits. Not everyone could see them. But Peter was able to see these spirits that were lifting up Simon Magus. And he was able to tell them to let him go. And they were forced to listen to Peter. And they had to let him go and let him fall, which was proving his superior knowledge and his, that how he had superior power over these entities that were not be able to be seen. That would be esoteric understanding, esoteric information that the vast majority of the world is not privy to. The vast majority of the world doesn't realize that there's all these spirits all around, but there's a certain group of people, that these spirits are forced to listen to. That all plays part into this esoteric understanding. But see, these are kind of books and stories they don't want you to read. So therefore, they will make it seem as if, hey, Manly P. Hall, everything he wrote is satanic. Don't listen to anything. Don't look at anything. They talk about how this story might not be true, whatever else. We don't know. And as long as they're hiding information and hiding books, we won't know until the Most High gives us more knowledge and understanding. But to act as if these kinds of things weren't happening, yes, they were. There were many things that were unexplainable that were happening. They happened back then, and they happen now. There's things that are going on in the spirit world back then, and there's things going on in the spirit world right now. But it's just how they're trying to, pin like, oh, well, who's godly and who's not? Who's of the devil and who's not? That's what they've been trying to control, and that's what they've been controlling this whole time. Not giving credit to certain people, saying that these people, Simon Magus, he was a Gnostic. He started Gnosticism, and he was working with the devil. He was working with the left-hand side. So anytime you hear esoteric things, anytime you hear anything that goes against the church, that's the devil. Simon Peter was a Christian. He was the one that started the Catholic Church. He showed that the Christian church has has real power over evil spirits. So therefore, you need to become a Christian, or you need to become a Catholic, so you can have power over these evil spirits. That's the way that they have, set all these things up. Okay? That's the way that they've set these things up. So I just wanted to read a little bit, kind of bring a little bit more information and, a little more context to the things that are going on all around us. And talking about this esoteric information and understanding. As like I said, when you're reading the books, you've got to, pull out the meat and spit out the bones. They're not going to put everything in a manual and it's going to be nice and easy and very easy to just understand. That's not what this world does. They make things very difficult. You have to be led by the Spirit. You have to be able to have, be able to be a free thinker and be led by the Most High and be led by the Holy Spirit in order to be able to get understanding, to be able to read between the lines of the things that we are reading and the things that we are being exposed to. And I was going to let you guys know that I'm planning on observing Passover this Saturday at sundown. Okay, and then we'll do a Feast of Unleavened Bread after that. So so I will be, just wanted to let everyone know that I will be observing Passover this Saturday sundown. Okay, and Feast of Unleavened Bread after that. All praise is the Most High Yahweh. Acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledgement to Yahweh Shai. Shalom.